Hey everyone, I have my newest Automa ready to go, so I'm excited to show you how it works. It should be on BGG by March 21st, 2021. With this Automa, you are going to get 18 different opponents, and they are going to range from easy, which has one paintbrush in the top left corner, to normal, which has two paintbrushes, to hard, which has 3 paintbrushes. What I did was when I printed them out, there's 18 of them, I simply slid them in to the back of your wallpaper cards. That way they don't take up any more room in the box, and you don't have to, when you're playing multiplayer, you don't have to worry about breaking these out. You can just give people their cards and they can just completely ignore the back. But when you're playing solo, you have these ready to go for your choosing. Additionally, you're going to get 12 solo Automa cards to make up the Automa deck, and you want to go ahead and give that a shuffle. You set up a game of canvas versus a solo opponent or opponents the same you would in a multiplayer game. So you're going to have your 4 scoring cards conditions. You're going to lay this out into market slots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to have your ribbons up at the top. You're going to give yourself 3 wallpaper cards. You're going to take 4 inspiration tokens. You're going to shuffle the solo deck, and then you're going to choose an opponent or opponents. In this case, I'm planning on playing against Bob, who's a difficulty of 1, so that's an easier opponent. And I'm also playing against Frida, who's a difficulty 2, so that's a normal opponent. I prefer to play against 2 opponents. It's very easy to manage, but you can choose just one if you want to, or you can choose up to 3 other ones that you want to play. What you want to do is you want to take the opponents that you choose and just place them near the game board, and you're going to take ribbons from the supply, and you're going to mark off these columns. You're going to put these at the very top, and as the game progresses, these are going to slide down and they're going to reveal different things. But to start the game, you're going to put these at the very top for each opponent. And if you do like 4, 4, and then 3 and 3, you shouldn't worry about running out of components. You're also going to give 4 inspiration tokens to your opponents as well. So a game versus automated opponents are going to look very similar to a regular multiplayer game. So you're going to go first, and you're going to play just like you would in a multiplayer game. So you might pick this card, and if you take this card into your hand, you simply leave an inspiration token behind, and you slide all these cards over, and you draw a new one. After you've taken your turn, AIs get to go. When it's the AI's turn, you're simply going to flip over a solo card and resolve each AI one at a time. So you'll flip over a card for Bob, in this case, and resolve the card. And then once you're done with that, you're going to flip over a card for Frida and then resolve her card, and then it would go back to your turn. So let's see what that would look like. So this says, take an art card. So it's going to look for a card in slot 2, and it's going to leave an inspiration on slot 1 because it took the card in slot 2, just like you would have to. So in this case, it would take it 1 from its supply, it would leave it on slot 1, and it would take this card. And then it would slide all these cards down, just like it would in a multiplayer game. So when it takes an art card, you're simply going to look at 2 things, the colors on it, as well as any icons on it. So for the colors, this shows green and blue. So let's go ahead and do green and blue first. So what that means is you simply slide down the green and blue, if it has those colors on its board, 1 spot. So you'll slide this one down 1 spot, and this just started a chain reaction. So by dropping down green 1 spot, this has revealed this icon here. So that means it gets to push down another one that matches that icon. Okay, so whenever you reveal, it's either going to have a blank space, it's going to have an icon that matches one of the icons up here, or it's going to have an award that it will receive once it completes its painting. So we did green, and now we need to do blue. So we'll simply move blue down 1. All right, it's a blank space, so that's all it does. And then you want to look at the icons on it. So it's going to move, if it has this icon on its player area, it's going to move that one down. So looking at its player area, it does here. So we'll move that one down. And this one has a triangle. Well, looking on its player board, it doesn't have a triangle, so it doesn't move anything down for that one. This would be the end of its turn. It would take this card and place it to the right. So after you do that, after you look at the card to see what icons it has and you move this down, you simply take a look at the bottom right of the AI card, and it's going to look to see how many art cards does it have in its possession. So Bob has one, so he's not going to complete a painting yet. But let's say it had taken this one, and let's say it had taken this one, and so when it drew this card, let's say this was the card in slot 2, and so let's say, okay, let's move yellow and green. So yellow would move down, green would move down, and then, oh, we have these two icons, so that gets moved down twice. So 1, 2. And then, oh, we have a sun here. So, nope, there's no sun on here. So then it placed this in its possession. So now that's 3. One thing I will note is that when the AI collects an art card that has one of these icons on it, it gets a black award ribbon per icon, you just simply ignore those. It will not move any spaces on its columns for these icons. You look at, once again, you look at the very bottom right of the card, and so it's saying if it has 3 plus cards in its player area, go ahead and complete a painting. So it would combine all of these, and that's the painting it painted. And so now it needs to score its painting. So you're going to look to see all the visible awards that it has gotten from this painting. So in this case, it has gotten a blue ribbon award and it has gotten a red ribbon award. So it will go ahead and add those ribbons to its player area. It will score those at the end of the game. After it's painted a painting, you will simply reset its player board. Or you can leave these next to the Automa play area just to say, hey, this is the painting they actually painted. Then when it comes back to Bob's turn, he will get more cards, and he will do just the same. But when he places this now, he won't place this on here. He will place it. He will start a new painting since he's painted this one. And any Automa reference cards, like let's say this says he took this card and it says 3 plus. You don't count. Okay, he has 3 plus 1, so now he completes another painting. Now you just look at his new one. He only has 1 card, so he wouldn't complete a painting on this turn. So on the AI's turn, you're going to flip over a card. You're going to take the art card showing. You're going to move the different ribbons down based off the colors and icons showing. And then you're going to check to see, does it have that many art cards? And if it does, you're going to go ahead and score based off of whatever's showing on its card for ribbons. There's the 4 different ribbons, red, green, blue, purple. But there's the black ribbons that are signified by this symbol. And for colorblind, I made sure to put the letters, so that's green, blue, purple, red, and if there's no letter, then that simply means black. In the event that it goes to take an art card, but it doesn't have enough inspiration tokens, let's say, for example, Bob drew this art card, and it says it wants to take the card in this slot number 3, which is this card. He needs to leave 2 inspiration tokens on one on this one and 1 on this one. But let's say Bob only had 1. He would take the furthest right card that he could afford. So he would simply take his 1, place it here, and take this card because that's the one he could afford. And he would do the normal looking at the colors and icons and adjusting his board. If the AI ever takes a card with inspiration tokens on it, you simply add that to their player board and you do the colors and the icons per normal. There is one AI card in the deck that after it's drawn and resolved, so it's this card, it says take an art card in the 5th spot. Once again, if it can't afford that, it will try to take this card. If it can't afford that, it will try to take that card, so on and so forth. But regardless, after it's done this and you've moved the ribbons down on its player board for the different colors and icons on the art card selected, and once again you've checked to see did it paint a picture this turn. After you've done that, you're going to take all the cards in the discard pile as well as this card, and you're going to shuffle them together and make a new deck. So once again, if you're playing with multiple opponents, you're simply going to flip over a card for one of them, resolve the card, And then after you've taken their turn, you'll flip over another one for the next AI opponent and resolve that card. And then once all of your AI opponents have gone, you're going to go ahead and go again. At the end of the game, which takes place after all the players have completed 3 paintings, you're going to go ahead and score. You're going to score just like you would in a normal game, and the AI is going to score just like you would in a normal game 99% of the time. If you're playing on easy or medium, they will definitely score like you would in a normal game 100% of the time. But if you're playing on hard, there's a chance that they might have more than 3 ribbons of one color. So let's go ahead and look at a scoring example. So let's say Bob had these ribbons he had collected at the end of the game. You're going to look at the 4 scoring options. And so for red, it says if you have 3 ribbons, it will score you 11 points. So looking at Bob, he has 4 ribbons. So it's simply going to take 3 ribbons, score 11 points for those, and any leftover ribbons are going to score 2 points each. So let's say that's what he had 5 red, he would score 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's go ahead and finish this example out for each of his colors. So 3 ribbons is 11. That would be an extra 2, 12, 13. 1 ribbon is 4, so that's 13 plus 4 is 17. 2 blue is 7, so that's 24. 1 purple is 1, so that's 25. And 1 black is 2 points, so that's a total of 27 points. So that's how you score for the Automa. You're going to do that for each opponent that you're playing against. You're going to score for yourself, and whoever has the most points wins. You're going to see that between the 3 difficulties, medium, normal, and hard, you're going to have more going on their player board. There's going to be more chain reactions of what they can cross off. Let's say Artemisia got a art card that had a blue on it. She would move blue down 1. Oh, that just triggered yellow, so the yellow column goes down 1. Oh, that just triggered that icon. This one moves down 1. Oh, they just got another ribbon for when they go to score. So the harder difficulty cards are going to have a lot more of that going on. And just like that, another Automa is done. Be on the lookout for a full playthrough. I will probably be playing against an easy and normal opponent because I'm not very good at this game. I will say if you generally score between 0 and 25, I would play against easy opponents. If you score between 25 and 45, I would play against normal opponents. And if you're consistently scoring above 40, I would play on hard. So thank you for watching. Good luck versus the many different opponents you can choose from, and all of these names are based off famous artists. So if you want to research and see who exactly you're playing against, just go to Google and type in their first names, and I would say famous artists, and you can find out a little bit more about who you're playing against. So with that, happy gaming.